first time I saw Mercedes was a terrible night to remember. But once she graced us with her wavy midnight hair, firm thin lips, and big brown eyes of a doll. I wish I did meet her at church, exchanging immortal vows with one another with fluttering hearts and hungry lips. However, that night, the church was razed by spawn of Satanas, violated and desecrated it with their fetid claws and teeth. That is why me and Priligido, though reeling and trembling from the assault of malignos, went immediately to Casa de Fuego, the famous brothel in town for the lush red paint from its roof down to its wall. This is where Mercedes lived, together with other puta in our community. Por favor, Mercedes, they will tear down the church if you don't do something. Priligido's face is beyond agony and desperation that even the maestro will fail to paint. He admits that the carnage inside the church is partly his fault. He welcomed nameless vagabonds as act of mercy and make them caretakers of the house of the Lord, cleaning its yards and making sure that the candelabras and the statues of saints are well polished every week. On the first month of their stay, they show their keen devotion to the menial tasks. They're actually so good that the praile, feeling gracious than ever, give them money to spend aside from the lodging and food he provides for them. Yet something off happens the next couple of weeks. Many churchgoers complain that there is a foul odor coming from the inside of the church. At first, the priest didn't bother fighting it at all. Probably the local butcher house, with all the stale and putridity of their waste, is the one to blame. Their location is apparently just a few blocks away from the church. However, the hellish scent becomes stronger and stronger that many devotees stop attending from the mass. Worried by the declining number of churchgoers, Priligido personally searched high and low in the church, hoping to find and get rid of the source of the noxious scent. When he found out that the smell is coming from the statue of Santo and Santa, he instructed the caretakers of the church to strip off their clothing and see what makes them smell like shit. The caretaker exchanges worried glances. For the first time in their stay, the caretakers disobey the priest who take care of them. Angry and a little bit confused, Padre Guido do it with his own hands. After taking out all the lengthy robes, golden regalia, and colorful vest of human-sized statue of Birheng Maria, he was horrified that his wooden body is smeared with red, sticky substance. It was a week-old stain of blood. Por Dios por Santo, did Mother Mary showing a miracle? He suspected that the statue might be a milagrosa, bleeding on its own by the power of the Blessed Mother of God. Yet it turns out to be a devil's work after he noticed a strange compartment on the wooden statue's back, something he didn't seen before when the statue was built. As he opened the compartment, a mass of bones with fresh flesh still intact on them make the priest's blood run cold. It turns out that the vagabond used the statue as a storage for meat coming from people they butchered. They didn't have to confess it, for when Padre Guido glances at them after uncovering the truth about that smell, they begin to bare their fangs and rip away their mortal flesh. Padre Guido, without knowing, let the demonios inside the holy sanctuary of God. You are too soft, Padre. Mercedes spoke after hearing the nightmarish tale of the praile, despite the frequent stuttering and shaking voice of the priest. Her voice, ironically, is so soft that I can even picture them as cottony feathers that float in the air as she opens her mouth. Bueno, let's finish them off before they start turning the church into a bloodhouse. Mercedes' arsenal is not of a soldier, but of a proficient yet brutal hunter. A variety of blades from dahong palay for slashing, bolo for thrusting, and 29 for silent slitting of someone's throat. All of them are placed in a holster underneath her skirt. God knows how I struggled to not let the diablo play in my mind when she lifted it up and exposed her thigh in front of our eyes. She shot back a piercing gaze to me when she saw I was looking at it. I guess the diablo did win that time, but only for a few seconds because I took away my eyes immediately from her. I was burning red that time with embarrassment. Aside from blades, she even take a whip-like weapon made from a tail of a buggy, coated with tiny shrapnel that could inflict more than pain to anyone that tastes its whiplash. The last weapon she bring was a greased dagger. Its wavy razor is glazed with white crystal that I guess is salt, which is one thing that is hated by malignos for it sears their flesh. It took us 30 minutes to return to the church. Dark sky and booming thunder accosted us as we opened the gate and found 10 bodies of Guardia Civil piled up in front of the door. When we go to the side door of the church, another pile awaits us in the altar like a tower of Babel meant to mock God in front of it. Sus Maria Josep, even the guards I called are being slaughtered. Padre Guido can only make the sign of the cross on his trembling hands upon seeing the mountain of corpses that serve as the buffet of 5 gargoyles that finally appears out of the shadow cast by the statues inside the church. Say your prayers, Padre, while I slay. Mercedes unsheathed her bolo and dahong palay as she approached the already growling malignos. She too make a sign of the cross as she walked gracefully. I noticed even that in her right hand, a black rosary was wrapped around it. Praile Guido told me once that malignos before are humans like everyone else. But due to strange circumstances, the seed of evil grew into their soil. This seed is not of their choosing. It just happens that they were born with it. Once it blooms, it will corrupt their soul with the voice of the Prince of Lies until it persuades them to shed their humanity and embrace the new skin of monstrosity. Prayer can work wonders, but in their case, once they exchange their soul for the hunger for human flesh, it is only true killing that can save them, particularly by a virgin maiden, a pure woman like Mercedes who hasn't lost her innocence despite the fact that she lived as a cabaret dancer for Casa de Fuego. As the priest says his rosary, Mercedes starts clashing her own steel with the malignos' sharpened organic weapons. Though alone, she can deftly deflect every single blow that comes from the bestial creatures. She weave, attack, and dodge all in perfect sync. Her strings of movement are calculated yet boasting of finesse and grace, a dazzling display of calisthenics that probably she learned in the casa. However, her dance is not for entertaining men who could only wish to place their hands on the curve of her waist or taste her morena skin. At first, she was just parrying each slash from the bony hands of the gargoyles. But when the duel of teeth and blade drags on, her pace started to change. Faster and faster like the Pasa Doble dance, until the malignos forget their defense and expose numerous chink on their hide. Hack, trust, hack, trust. Her legs and arms are so fluid that her attack imitates that of a flowing river, snaking and raging on its path. Yet instead of rocks that crush along its way, it was the bone and flesh of the malignos that suffered from the onslaught. Mercedes, a one-man slayer, killed 5 man-eaters without even staining his barot saya with her own blood. Standing in front of the most holiest place of the church, clothed in blood and gore, Mercedes gave me a goosebumps as she looked above and let her face shine with the light coming from the remaining candles of the candelabria. Even if she wielded the tools of slaughter, she does look like a saint at that moment. A holy virgin, a patron, the incarnate of Santa Muerte herself. May their soul rest in your hands. She ended her whispered prayer with the sign of the cross. Her eyes are twinkling in the dark as she pushes away the hair on her angelic face. Padre, I think I'm not going to be a priest anymore. Padre Guido nearly dropped his crucifix and rosary as he hears me. His most loyal sacristan turned down the opportunity of becoming a servant of God. Forgive me, Father, but I am in love with the saint, a newly ordained one. I said with a stomach bursting with butterflies as Mercedes walked past by in a heartbeat.